Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle has the night off. Well, the manhunt for an armed man who opened fire on a sheriff's deputy on the Bozeman Pass early this morning is still underway at this hour. In fact, the Park County Sheriff's Office tells us it plans to beef up that search tonight. That includes the use of infrared cameras. It all started, according to authorities, when a Park County Sheriff deputy attempted to pull over a vehicle for suspected drunk driving. MTN's Mallory Peebles reports.
The sound of a helicopter flying overhead woke many people in this area. Then, by neighbors or police, word made its way around quickly. An armed man was on the loose.
I made sure I grabbed the gun and I locked the doors.
Challenged by terrain, the massive effort to bring Chauncey Kohn into custody Wednesday included law enforcement from local, county, state, and federal levels. SWAT and FBI both present in the search. They say the 37-year-old three-time felon is known to them, not just because of his past, but due to current investigations. Authorities say it all started when they got a 911 call about a drunk driver in a white sedan.
They made a stop on it. The stop didn't last very long. The driver, the male, was obstructing the investigation, and then he fled.
Park County Undersheriff says when authorities caught up with Cole, he pointed a pistol out the window and fired back at them. They backed off and found the car a few miles up the road being driven by a woman who was previously the passenger. She was arrested with unknown charges to come. Even with heavy police presence, people returning home say they're a bit nervous.
But it's a good end, but anytime you shoot at the cops, who knows?
I did speak with Cole's family, who says this entire thing is being blown out of context. They say this is out of his character and they're concerned for his safety. Reporting from Bozeman Pass, I'm Mallory Peebles with MTN News.
Thank you, Mallory. Now the man law enforcement is searching for is 36-year-old Chauncey Kohn, a white male, just under 6 feet tall, weighing about 170 pounds. Last seen wearing a red mohawk haircut. The public being advised not to approach Kohn, but rather to call 911 if he is spotted. Residents in the Quinn Creek area near the Bozeman Pass are being told to stay inside and to lock their doors. A man charged in a shooting death on the Crow Reservation some 15 years ago will now get a new sentencing trial. Federal Judge Susan Waters says Quentin Burdenground Jr.'s use of a gun did not meet a specific federal definition of a violent crime. It was back in 2004 Burdenground was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of Emerson Pickett. He was sentenced to 24 years in federal prison. Judge Waters' ruling in this case, though, focused on Burdenground's use of a gun and the phrase crime of violence. Waters says that Burdenground's level of intent did not clearly meet the federal threshold, and as a result, she vacated the firearms charge. Residents in Plentywood still picking up the pieces and cleaning up in the aftermath of Monday night's tornado and severe storm that tore through that small northeastern Montana town. Sheriff Heidi Williamson telling us today the community is made up of incredibly resilient people who are banding together to recover from the damage from Monday's supercell storm. Just yesterday, Plentywood residents got a helping hand from a couple of local businesses in the area. From Scobie, Newmont Communications brought in a large supply of donated food and water. The company then set up in the grocery store parking lot and barbecued for local citizens. And from North Dakota, Oasis Petroleum sent in a crew of volunteers armed with trucks and chainsaws who then made their way around the town, assisting citizens to remove debris and fallen trees. Sheriff Williamson says there is still no formal damage assessment, but says that widespread crop damage will likely make up a large portion of the monetary loss. According to Sheriff Williamson, as of midday today, power had been restored to all of the Plentywood community. On to the weather scene tonight. We had a great evening for a barbecue here at Q2, the barbecue for Relay for Life. But Bob McGuire, the question is, what about Friday's big Relay for Life event at West High?
Well, as you know, you were out there. It was a beautiful night tonight. Yeah. Very comfortable, very temperate. But Friday, it's not going to be that way. Let me show you our four-panel forecast for the Relay for Life. Starting at 6 p.m., it's going to be 94 degrees. Yeah, that's not the hottest it's been, but it's going to be up there. It's going to be mostly sunny, clear skies. And we'll keep those clear skies at 8 o'clock. It'll be 89 degrees. We'll cool it down to 82 by 10 p.m. with mostly clear skies. Then when the whole thing starts wrapping up between 11 and midnight, we're looking at 80 degrees again with mostly clear skies. So not going to be the worst show we've ever had, but it is going to be kind of a warm day for the Relay for Life on Friday. Then after that, we actually start to cool down a little bit as we head into the weekend. We'll have more about that coming up in a few more minutes. Jay?
All right, thanks, Bob. Well, tonight we get one of the clearest glimpses yet into what is now one of the most famous caves in the world. We're talking about, of course, the cave in Thailand, where a youth soccer team and its coach were stranded by high water for 2.5 weeks. You can see just how muddy the water is as divers disappear under the surface, diving, swimming, and then trekking miles into the cave through darkness, then loading the boys onto stretchers one by one over 3 anxious days of the rescue operation. All of it incredibly dangerous, flooded passageways, the definition of peril, highlighted by the death of a former Thai Navy SEAL who died after bringing oxygen supplies into that cave just days before the rescue began. A final picture here shows the last eerily illuminated steps of heroes freeing the team. The founder of Papa John's Pizza now apologizing for using a racial slur during a conference call, and now he has resigned from the Board of Trustees at the University of Louisville. Papa John founder John Schnatter confirms his use of the slur took place back in May during a conference call that was intended to prevent him from more controversy. Schnatter stepped down as Papa John's CEO after he blamed the NFL's handling of the national anthem protest for his company's poor sales. During that call in May, Schnatter used the N-word while trying to downplay his NFL snafu. Reportedly, he was complaining because Colonel Sanders allegedly used that word but never faced public backlash. Shares in the pizza food chain have now dropped to a new 12-month low, and also tonight there is word that Major League Baseball has indefinitely suspended its Papa Slam promotion with Papa John's. President Trump is gearing up for another day of NATO meetings in Belgium after stirring the pot at Wednesday's events. He publicly demanded that the allies pay significantly more for defense and then criticized Germany for getting too cozy with Russia. Mola Lengi reports.
At breakfast with NATO's Secretary General, President Trump got right to the point.
Many countries are not paying what they should, and frankly, many countries owe us a tremendous amount of money for many years back.
Only 5 of the 29 NATO members are currently paying the required 2% of their nation's GDP. The U.S. is at 3.5%, paying $685 billion last year. The goal is that the rest reach 2% by 2024, but President Trump wants it upped to 4% immediately. He also blasted Germany over a national gas pipeline deal with Russia.
It's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia.
German Chancellor Merkel hit back, denying the controversial Nord Stream pipeline will allow Russia to exert undue influence over Germany. The two later exchanged pleasantries in a one-on-one meeting.
But the president's tone was not shared here in Washington. Speaker Paul Ryan called NATO indispensable as the House passed a resolution supporting NATO allies.
Thursday, the president will head to London for meetings with British Prime Minister Theresa May and Queen Elizabeth. Then it's on to Finland, where he'll meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. May told allies at Wednesday night's dinner that meeting could help reduce the risk of confrontation between Russia and the West. Mola Lengi, CBS News, the White House.
Closer to home, Yellowstone National Park witnessed its second busiest June ever last month, but it fell a bit short of the record that was set in 2016, falling short by about 50,000 visitors. So far here in 2018, more than 1.3 million people have visited Yellowstone. Overall, that's a 2.5% increase from the same time last year. National parks also on the docket for Montana Senator Steve Daines today, who chaired a hearing on Capitol Hill on a bill that seeks to create a legacy and restoration fund for the National Park Service, a fund that would be funded by both energy development fees and private donations. Senator Daines spoke about the importance of protecting the basic infrastructure of the country's national parks.
Whether it's the $5.5 million needed to replace and upgrade electrical and wastewater utilities along Lake McDonald, or the $92,000 to repair a water line that crosses Rose Creek in the Rising Sun concessions area, visitors to the national parks deserve basic functioning infrastructure that remarkably actually works.
Senator Daines says he hopes this bill will help alleviate some of the $11 billion currently on the National Park Service backlog. $217 million of that includes both Yellowstone and Glacier National Parks. Eradicating noxious weeds can be difficult work, especially if that work is on rough terrain. Tonight, MTN's John Amy shows us how mules are being used to help spray for weeds along Butte's East Ridge.
It takes plenty of mule power to get rid of noxious weeds on the East Ridge.
Without the help of the backcountry horsemen, this project would be much slower in our progress in being able to control noxious weeds.
Mile-high backcountry horsemen, along with assistance from AmeriCorps in full armor, hauled hundreds of gallons of water up Maud-S Canyon Trail in Butte so they could remove knapweed and other invasive weeds along the hiking trail.
And that's the whole key to working with the pesticides, is something that will kill the weeds but not kill the native vegetation.
Each year since 2006, the East Ridge Foundation, which was started by the Rotary Club of Butte, has been doing this weed eradication project. Removing the weeds not only protects the native vegetation, it cuts back on allergies.
So when it comes out in mid to late July and into August and people are sneezing and complaining about having a cold, it's really an allergy that they probably have with knapweed.
So the crew way up there on the ridge are each wearing these 40-pound backpacks that hold 5 gallons of liquid. And that's why it's important to have the storage of water along the trail so they can easily refill their backpacks and get to eradicating these weeds.
It's fairly high up, and they to come down and reload with water, they burn most of their energy just getting back up to the spray areas.
Working like a mule to get the job done. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Thank you very much, John. Officials say the cost to complete that project runs anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 annually. Up next here on Q2 tonight, it's the last straw for some companies who are now saying goodbye to the plastic pollutant. We'll check out the changes for you coming up. And in sports, the Bobcats forced to call an audible after announcing that quarterback Chris Murray will sit out the entire season. Scott fills us in.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Kohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.